All right, welcome back. It's time for part 2. Now that we've got this done, I went over it, my lines with Sharpie. Take the eraser from your basket and just erase some of the pencil lines. I went over as best as I could, but because I'm not perfect, I am a human, I make mistakes, and I didn't go over all my pencil lines perfectly. So erase those before you start with color. And now this is the fun part. Love adding color. You get to decide, are you going to use marker and just color these in solid? Are you going to use crayons? Or are you going to use watercolor paint? Now, I like to do shading so that it really helps to create a little bit more of an optical illusion. So I'm actually going to use crayons. And I think they look really cool when you press hard and get a lot of color on there. So let me show you a quick example of shading. Let's see, maybe I'll work with orange and I'm gonna grab a black. Okay, I'll use this orange right here. So when you shade near the edge, so let me just start with this section right here because it's a little bit bigger. When you're near the edge, I want you to press really hard. As you get towards the center, I want you to lighten up. If you're using crayon, lighten up. Now, when you start to get closer as you're going across, start to push harder again. Okay, and so I'm filling it in, lots of color, doing my best job coloring, but I'm making the edges darker, the center lighter. And then I think I'm going to skip this row. I'll do this one. Same thing, darker, lighter in the center, darker on the edge. Okay. Now let's say I use a blue for the other sections. Same thing. Press harder, then lighter, and then darker. Now with marker, you're not really going to be able to shade. So think about that unless you did marker and then you used maybe a black or a gray crayon and went over the edges. That would work, okay? If you're using paint, you will use less water near the edges, more water in the center, less water again on that edge, okay? And that will make the paint go from dark, light, back to dark, depending on how much water you use. Okay, now I could leave this because I think I did a pretty good job on shading from dark, light, back to dark. But if you really want to accentuate it, then you could go over with a black very lightly and just start hard and get lighter. So I'm going to go out the edges and I'm really just kind of very lightly using the black on my paper. Really soft. Okay, don't go really hard. And then look at that. It's really looking like it's popping out just by using my crayons and shading. I think crayons actually look wonderful for this project. I think you'll be able to find it the easiest way to shade. So if that's the optical illusion you really want to get, then I would probably recommend crayons. Okay? All right, stay tuned for part 3 where we put something in the center, one of your favorite things.